I think Descartes has pointed to something quite powerful, that even if you're deceived in every imaginable way, you must still be there, in some sense of be there. You must still exist in order to be deceived. It's not a totally original insight. In fact, St. Augustine, who is quite a strong influence on Descartes, I think, many centuries earlier, said in Latin, si fallor sum, if I am deceived, then I exist.
Yeah, I think there is even interesting line there where it says, even if we assume that there's a devil out there, there's an evil deceiver out there, let them deceive me as much as they can, but they cannot deceive me as long as I think I'm something.
He was always rather prickly when people suggested he might have been influenced by previous thinkers. Very proud of his new system. But he does say something pretty similar, as you say. Even imagine an all-powerful demon who is bent on deceiving and tricking him in every conceivable way. He can't make me nothing. Well, of course, he could. If an all-powerful demon could destroy me, could make me cease to exist, so he could do that. There's nothing necessary about my existence. But as long as I'm still thinking, just for that moment, I must exist. So it's a very temporary certainty. It's not there's any certainty about I exist. The certainty is I exist just so long as I am now focusing on the thought that I'm doubting or that I'm thinking or that I'm reflecting in some way. As long as that flicker of consciousness persists, there must be something or someone who is conscious.
If we take that conclusion and also link it to that famous phrase, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. If I'm not mistaken, I think in his writings, two different versions of this appear in discourses and also meditations. I think in the discourses, it is the original version, I think, therefore I am. But in the meditations, he says, I am, I exist. So what are some interesting differences in the way that is phrased, and what does this show about Descartes' philosophy?
Yes, thank you for raising that. That's an important point. Yes, in the discourse, the Discours de la Méthode, which was written in French and published anonymously, no name on the title page, in 1637, uses this phrase, je pense, donc je suis. I think, therefore I am, if you like. And in the Latin translation of the discourse that appeared a few years later, the purpose of a Latin translation was to reach a wider audience, rather as English is now. Latin in the 17th century was the kind of the international language among the learned to communicate. So in that Latin version of the discourse, we get cogito ergo sum. In his masterpiece, The Meditations, which was written in Latin and published in 1641, a few years after the discourse, he doesn't use that definitive phrase, cogito ergo sum. Instead, he says, as you rightly pointed out, sum existo, I am, I exist, is certain as long as it is put forward by me or conceived in the mind. In the Latin phrase is quoties profertur, as often as it's put forward, vel mente concipitur, or conceived in the mind. So when you add that later bit, you can see it is really the same thought. It's not the thought that I am is certain, it's the thought that I am is certain as long as I'm actually thinking it. That's why in the translation of the Meditations, which into English for the Cambridge edition of Descartes, which a team of three of us did, I was responsible for the Meditations, and I chose to render it not I think, therefore I am, but I am thinking, therefore I am. the idea there being, in English, we have two present tenses. We have I am walking and I walk, or I am thinking and I think. And the I am thinking is sometimes called the continuous present because it refers to an ongoing process. So that, I think, is probably a more helpful translation. It's not a sort of blackboard argument, premise I think, therefore conclusion I exist. It's more like an action, a performance. I am now thinking, and insofar as I'm now thinking, I can be sure that I'm existing.
As long as I'm thinking, I am existing. So that is like
Yes,
that condition. Yeah.
exactly. As long as is the crucial phrase. Absolutely.
Thank you for listening or watching. If you want to stay updated on future episodes, please follow the show on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Please also consider leaving a like on YouTube or a review on Spotify, as this helps the show reach a lot of people. You can also leave comments if you have any personal thoughts on the topics discussed during the episode. More conversations and solo episodes are on the way in the following weeks, and following the show is the best way to be notified about them. If you would like to reach out to me directly, you can DM me on Instagram at philosophy.everyday. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.